Terrell here, and I'm back again to talk about another new movie coming out September 16th by the name of The Last Ronin. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, this is not a Ninja Turtles movie. It just happens to have the same name. A lot of movies and TV shows have used this name. So not to confuse you, this is a Russian movie by the name of The Last Ronin. Please don't think this is Ninja Turtles movie going into this review, or if you go decide to buy the movie. But it is coming out on digital on September 16th, and it is in Russian, and it's going to be English dubbed, of course. If you guys don't know about this movie, let me give you a little bit of a backstory. First of all, this movie is starring, and I hope I don't butcher this, Yuri Kolokolnikov, who you have seen in so many other projects. But let me give you the backstory on this a little bit. A man on the hunt for his father's killer in a world ravaged by nuclear war and climate change. In this post-apocalyptic action adventure, The Last Ronin, his path changes when a girl offers a large bounty to safely return her to her birthplace. And I'm just gonna leave it there, right? Because you get into this, and the first thing I'm thinking, like, you get this kind of Mad Max, Fist of the North Star kind of look, or Equilibrium. I don't want to say Equilibrium, but kind of similar to like the fighting style with the not Gakana, because that is ridiculously famous. If you've never seen Equilibrium, please watch that. But this movie does something where it's not a big budget here, but I think they make really, really good use of the location, the some of the props and other stuff throughout this movie to kind of like really bring this to life for me. This movie is also 120 minutes long. So did I think it needed to be 120 minutes long? Absolutely not. But I really, really, really did like it. And again, this was, again, if you haven't seen this, Yuri, who's also been in Game of Thrones, and he was in Kraven the Hunter recently. I wasn't really sure where this movie was going to go, because, like I said, you got your lone wolf character kind of traveling the wilderness, again, looking for his father's killer, which they do mention that in the movie, but I feel like it wasn't as clear until like later in the movie. That's what the objective was. I thought that was already kind of done, and then we were still pursuing that. But again, I was a little bit confused in terms of like the story, because we come across this girl, who they come across, where in this world bullets are like money. They're the currency of the world, because they're a little bit more rare, to find. So money and everything else is useless, but everybody pretty much exchanges bullets for food and shelter and other shoes, stuff like that, throughout the world, which I definitely thought that establishing that story, to give you a little bit more backstory to how this world operates, like what's the new currency, is it gasoline, is it oil, is it bullets, usually in these post-apocalyptic times, the simplest things become the wealthiest things, you know what I mean? Like it's money, and all that other stuff kind of has no value. The fighting in this movie, I thought the choreography of the fights, I thought was incredibly well done, especially because a lot of this movie has like sword play in it. I thought it was really good. You get a lot of guns and you get a lot of swords. A lot of the fights I thought were really, really good, really, really good. You can see like the shots very cleanly, especially like a lot of the slicing, a lot of the gunshots to the head, I thought was really, really done, really, really well done. But as I'm watching this, I'm still kind of like, man, the story's not really doing what I needed to do. And I think I don't know if it just became like a time issue. Like we just, again, like I've said previously in different reviews, like where like you kind of take advantage, you want to take advantage of your time and get those shots in that you need to really tell your story. And I feel like some movies, like they want to go for the big fights that are 15-20 minutes, but that could have been time that we could have used to set up why we're doing certain things. So okay, what is this? And because there's a lot of elements to this world that you really do want to know as you watch it, and I don't think it's always like blatantly established, like, okay, this is what's going on, this is why we're in the pursuit here, this is why we're going here, this is why he has this. And they do explain a lot of stuff, but again, as I watch this, I'm like, man, I'm missing this. Something's missing. But again, I thought the fighting was really really well done. I thought that the music matched the tone of this post-apocalyptic world. You know, there's nudity in the movie. I didn't feel like it was like inappropriate. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of well placed to like what would be going on at the end of, you know, a post-apocalyptic world where there's basically nothing. But I think Yuri does a really really good job of carrying this movie too. Despite it being in a different language, I thought the emotion in the character and the acting I thought was really really well done from all parts involved. This, you know, you got a couple characters that are just completely nuts. You got characters that are neutral to the story that, you know, I feel like they act very very well. I would love to see more of this, like or like, you know, other characters kind of expanded throughout this world, because there's, I feel like there's so much more story they could tell with this, and like 2 hours you would think would be enough, but I feel like this is, to me, is like the start of something. And that's not a spoiler to say how anything goes, but I feel like we could definitely milk more story out of this. Like, I feel like there's a whole world, you know, your John Wick, that we could, you know, we can get more out of the story. You know, we can get Mad Max 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, out of these movies if the actors want to do it. I'm not saying this is the best story. I'm saying this is a great way to start, you know, what's going on for these characters, because I definitely want to see how other members of these organizations kind of operate throughout the story. Like I said, it's 120 minutes. This is probably my first Russian action film that I feel like I've reviewed. And I thought they did a really, really good job. Again, well go, you know, bringing this out. This is a really good time for them. Um, Again, this is going to be on DVD for $20 and Blu-ray for 30. Also going to be available digitally as well. I believe it's also supposed to be on the Haya TV app. Well, I know it's going to be on the Haya. So if you're going to be getting that as well, it should be available for you guys to watch. This is worth your time. I think it's other action movies I'm like kind of like like don't watch it. No, this is actually pretty good. Like I said, you could definitely tell like with a budget there wasn't like the budget could have been better for this, because this is like very minimal sets. Not, you know, it's a lot of people, but it's also not that many people. But there's a lot of story, like I said, I feel like it's just unsaid that I feel like we could have got more of. But like I said, I don't want to say we could have got, we should have had been more time, because like I said, I feel like they could have taken advantage of the time that they had, and I don't think that they maximized that as well as they could have, for it to be 120 minutes long. Like I said, this is coming out digital September 16th. You know, from Well Go Entertainment. The movie is good. The movie is good as a action movie. I don't want to say like, oh, this is a, you know, Oscar winning movie, but this is definitely worth your watch. And I do think like if you have the chance to, you know, get Haya, or if you got $20 or whatever to spend, it's definitely worth the time. But I do want to see more. That's kind of my where I'm leaving off on this. I want to see more of this world. I want to see more Yuri in more movies. I want to see you know, because they do a really good job with the action in this movie. He is better than I remember him being, and I've seen a few movies with him in it that I just named earlier. But this is definitely worth the watch. But I don't want to drag this on too long. Let me know what you thought about the movie below in the comment section. If you had a chance to see it, like I said, this is coming out on September 16th from Well Go. Have you decided you want to watch it? Let me know what you thought about the movie. I think it is worth the watch. But like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. This has been the last Ronin, and this is not Ninja Turtles. Again, this is the last Ronin, September 16th, digital, Well Go USA. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I will see you guys next time for another review. See you.